was. You clickbaited, bro. Nah, man, we've got a topic to discuss today, my friend. We have some interesting discussions. What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? What is good? Yo, what is happening? My days. Listen, today, right? Listen. This is funny, but it's not funny, okay? An article was released today talking about Sam. Why is it the name Sam is always going to screw us over? Sam Bankman-Fried, Sam Trabucco, can't even say his name. Why is it these guys with the name Sam always kind of put us in a bit of a sticky situation? What's good, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you're all doing well today. We've got a busy day today in terms of data. We've got the FOMC minutes coming out later on today. And hopefully by the end of this stream, I would have delivered the fire, hopefully, to get you guys aligned with what's going to happen in the charts later on. Now, I'm always going to say it to you. Whenever there's news, you've got to be careful. And the market has a tricky way of bringing you into the charts and making you want to do stuff. This is the problem with trading, all right? We always have this fear of like, oh my God, I'm missing out on a move to the upside, to the downside. Oh, you know what? If you start getting like that in your trading, you're only going to be the liquidity that is required by Mr. Market Maker to offset his positions. So what's the story with my guy Sam and Alameda Research talking about a bluff? Well, look, there was a discussion with Sam talking about his tendency to play a lot of poker. But it then turns out that Alameda Research's approach and the bets that they were making were no different to the same way someone does in poker, okay? You see, the problem with poker is this. You can go on tilt, and it turns out Alameda Research have gone on tilt, which has led to FTX's platform going bankrupt. The aggressive bets, and in the article he said it clearly, they're not necessarily sellers. They are huge buyers, which creates the illusion in the crypto space that if Alameda Research is picking up lots of assets, naturally people are going to feel like they're missing out on that. And where retail was selling off, Alameda Research was doubling down on their approach. Now, Sam was seen taking pictures of him playing in the casinos and doing all of that stuff, all right? But it has led to the demise of Alameda Research. Now, also what's interesting is there are 50 creditors, or should I say investors, that Alameda Research is refusing to reveal. Because quite frankly, the problem we got with cryptocurrency right now is credibility, all right? If we've got a certain individual who has endorsed the idea of FTX, that's not going to look good on that individual. Say that individual manages 5, 10, 15, $20 billion worth of investors' funds. People are going to be thinking, hold on a second, bro. Why are you looking after my money and you're investing in this bad boy right here? Now, no fault of the creditors alone. You've got to remember that. There's no fault to the creditors here. They went in with the best intentions because we're in a capitalistic state, ladies and gentlemen. People want to make the money. That's the truth. Why are we here looking at charts? Because we want to make money. That's the truth. Now, going into today, ladies and gentlemen, the FOMC minutes. This is a very important statement that's getting released today, 7 p.m. UK time, all right? Now, there is a lot of discussion on the idea that the Fed is looking to get hawkish, or should I say slow down its hawkish stance, all right? Now, when we say hawkish, it means that the Fed wants to be aggressive in executing its monetary policy at bringing down inflation. But inflation is sticky. They're like, why is it so stubborn, man? Right, just go down. We just executed the largest rate hike in nearly how many decades? And nothing is happening. CPI still coming in at 7.7%. We got data coming out today, which is going to show the unemployment claims. And if unemployment claims come in less, then there's still a bit of a problem for the Fed. Now, historically, the Thanksgiving break that the US has usually reveals, or should I say, kind of leads into a little bit of a rally to the upside, which is evident with Bitcoin's move to the upside, Nasdaq's moves to the upside. It looks like it's a nice, promising time for price to go up. But if the Fed, in today's statement, reveals the idea of slowing things down, the market will accept that we should see price moving up. But before the FOMC minutes, what's price going to do to give us the clue that they are anticipating good news from the Fed at slowing things down, but they're not going to reveal at the rate that they're going to slow it down at? watched watched a video earlier on today with a hedge fund manager talking about the idea that if the minutes actually reveals they're going to slow things down, well, what's the rate of slowing things down? Okay? Does it mean that they are going to maintain 50 basis points from now all throughout to the next year and try and stick at the 5% mark? Or are they going to slow down increasing it, but still increasing it in the near future? This sort of gives me the idea that the data that is going to be coming out is giving the Fed a little bit of a cause for concern, because at any moment, next month's CPI data could come in and it could show an increase, which is going to put brakes on the idea of the Fed slowing things down. Institutional investors and hedge fund managers are saying, look, there's so much more that needs to be done. You need to pull out every tool possible to get the idea of inflation down to 2%. And you ain't going to do that by decreasing the interest rates. So then the Fed's in a bit of a sticky situation in the sense, well, what if we kill trade? If we make it that expensive, then people aren't going to be doing anything. Philly Fed Manufacturing Index shows a mad contraction, all right? Things are starting to lead towards the idea of a global recession. So tell me why the UK's in a recession, the Eurozone's in a recession, but the US is doing great. It doesn't make sense. Usually when you've got Canada increasing interest rates, Australia increasing interest rates, the UK increasing interest rates, Eurozone increasing interest rates, yet the US is decreasing interest rates. Bro, it just doesn't sit with me. Look, the Fed's already had a problem in the past saying that, inflation has been stubborn more than what we anticipated, all right? So when they start pulling out these cards like, yeah, we'll start slowing it down just to bring a little bit of a relief in the rally or to the markets will welcome that. That's the thing. We are in data-driven news, ladies and gentlemen, all right? And this is where we are. We're not at the point where we can look at the chart and say, yep, rise, retrace, continuation to the upside, because the narrative is things are looking good in the future anyway. Any data that comes out which suggests that the Fed has a lot more work to do is going to counter the idea of them slowing down their hawkish stance. Now, all week we've had these FOMC speakers talking about, we're going to pull out all our tools. We would like to slow things down. 50 basis points looks like it's been priced into the charts, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? But it doesn't mean that there's going to be now an opportunity for everyone to talk about the market bottoming out. No, we're not there yet. We need to see CPI come down. It's still 7.7%. If the next reading comes in and shows a reduction in inflation, the Fed has served us very well, ladies and gentlemen, and then it's pretty much yippee-ki-yay to the upside, because then the market, or should I say, the tools that the Fed has actually employed out has actually contributed to reducing and getting close towards that 2% inflation mark. But we got bigger things happening, guys. We got issues across overseas. We've already had this situation in relation to the oil as well. And we got OPEC meetings next week, guys, and that could trigger some interesting behavior in oil. That's why I was talking about oil yesterday, because we're seeing a lot of stocks in oil starting to set up and look pretty decent, all right? There were rumors about Saudis cutting the output, but that's not going to happen at all, all right? So, before we get into the charts, guys, mad love and respect. How many of you in the room with me? What is good? Bitcoin to 50? No, that's something else. That's something else. Anyways, how is a recession going to solve anything anyways? Well, look, a recession just slows down the spending. We've got consumer sentiment coming out later on. We've also got unemployment claims coming out. So this data is going to reveal to us exactly what we're expecting to see in the next month's data moving forward. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's roll over to the charts and have a conversation about BTC. Here we go. All right, let's get this up and running. I hope you guys are doing well. Here we go. Mike Dutch, what is happening? And listen, guys, if I don't get out to speak to you beforehand, happy Thanksgiving to all my guys in the US. Mad love and respect. Spend time with your families, because it was yesterday and today where we're going to see some movement in the charts. So just be very cautious with your trading. And by the way, Mike Dutch, just for the word right here, my friend, you said something to me yesterday about the moon. We've got a new moon cycle. So guys, anyone that wants to learn about the moon cycle, reach out to Mike Dutch in the Discord, and he'll be able to just deliver some great insights into the moon cycles. With pleasure, Mike. Happy days, bro. Anyways, what have we got right here? Bitcoin. Resistance at the psychological low, ladies and gentlemen. What a story we have right here. This is on the 3-minute time frame. Let's just go on to the higher time frames and start bringing you some fire. Here we go. So what have we got? Bitcoin comes away from a lovely little structure right here. Nice little W formation moving up. We've got the presence of vector candles right here and right here. And it seems as though Bitcoin looks like it wants to struggle, or should be struggling, around the 200 EMA. And it's the first time it's tapped this 200 EMA in quite a while. All right? Now, listen, something you've got to be aware of, okay? yes, we've got FOMC minutes coming out later on. What does it mean for Bitcoin? Well, what does this Alameda research mean for Bitcoin? This is where Bitcoin will show its worth, all right? You're hearing people talking about, FTX is one thing, Bitcoin is another, and I'm in agreement with it. But it's the idea. It's the trust. If it can happen to FTX, it can happen to anyone. And word already on Twitter talking about the idea that Binance is also playing the same game as FTX. And quite frankly, if Binance collapses, which I'm hoping it's not the case, but if Binance starts to show the same attributes as FTX, where does that leave cryptocurrency? Because the only coin that you would only be interested in is Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is to its own. In terms of trading, yeah, you go to Binance, Bybit, Femex, what other platforms there are out there. But when it comes to the basis of Bitcoin itself, it's like this situation in cryptocurrency is naturally just going to lead everyone back into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin will then move down to a certain point in the chart, which will make people say, you know what, I'm happy to pick it up regardless. So I'm down for the Bitcoin maximalists. I'm down for those guys. But we are orientated to news in the charts. That's the problem we've got, all right? So just be very cautious with today and going into tomorrow. All right. Now, let's just quickly take a look at Bitcoin and have a look at something. So from a day trading perspective, we've seen Bitcoin resist at the psychological low. Now, again, the psychological areas are the first high and the first low that is formed at the start of a trading week. Okay, this is where the market maker sets his spread on the idea of what he's trying to achieve throughout the week. Usually when they move away aggressively from the psychological zones, they aim to come back towards them, and that's exactly what they have just done. Now, the key thing is this: Bitcoin is at a turning point in the chart. Why? Because the 5 and 13 EMA are above the 50 EMA. So we now need to see proof of the move and see that Bitcoin does have the ability to continue higher, to start working back up into previous vector zones. If they cannot get above the psychological regions, you're not looking for any longs. That's the truth. Because the last time they were at the psychological high, they resisted, hit the sell stops, and then they moved down even lower. What you don't want to see is you don't want to see Bitcoin going up to that point and then thinking it's going to continue higher, because you have to wait to see if the same idea of sells gets triggered at this point, will it be triggered at this point? That's what you got to be cautious of. Now, when we look at the chart, is the idea of short-term interest still being maintained? Think about it. They've just made some money to the upside, all right? People have picked up Bitcoin. Are they going to look to take some profits? Rip to the downside is what you would naturally assume. But we've got news coming out today. And very shortly, ladies and gentlemen, we have at, here we go. Let me just get the data up for you in terms of the calendar. Unemployment claims come in at 240. That's good news, believe it or not. That is good news. We want unemployment rate to go up because that means there's less people going out spending money. They're a little bit more vigilant. But then we also have the actual consumer sentiment coming out at 3 p.m., which will be in the next 40 minutes or so. Durable goods orders has come out at 1%, and we have the new home sales as well. Now, listen, it's very important that you understand this, okay? If we can see the data showing favor, all right, to the idea of inflation coming down, then that means the Fed's stance in terms of how hawkish it's going to be, if they're going to slow it down because the data is suggesting that things are starting to slow down, then happy days. The market will absorb that. We will know that we're at a peak of 5% in March of 2023. The market will price that in now, okay? When we get to March 2023, it'll be a different story, different reading, different CPI. So where we are right now is the market is trying to factor in the idea that the Fed is going to slow things down. Before the news comes out, guys, I must warn you, don't play with fire, okay? I did a post earlier on Instagram talking about the idea of why you need to wait for the news to come out. Because right now, where you are in your charts, you're thinking, is Bitcoin going to go up or down from a technical standpoint, okay? This is why sometimes technical analysis is a little bit, sorry to say, it is actually BS, all right? You're going to use technical analysis to determine what the Fed's going to reveal in the FOMC minutes. So how do you get around not using technical analysis and then using it to get a better edge execution in the charts? Well, look, wait for the data to come out. Because when the data comes out, we'll have a clearer look at where we are expecting to go in the near future, because the market will price that in. If the data comes out favorable, then what we will see is from now up until that point, Bitcoin might stall in around this zone, come down and recover the green vector candle. When the data comes out, we'll see a stop hunt rise, stop hunt low, and then the market will resume its natural course because they've got the information they need. So imagine if the Fed does say, yeah, we're going to decrease interest rates and we're going to slow down our hawkish stance, and hopefully that's going to make life a little bit easier. The market will react up and down, and then slowly you'll start to see how price will start trading in the direction which favors the news. That's a much safer play than being in a trade right now and hoping that the news is favorable. You don't want to do that. You improve the odds of a trade playing in your favor once you've gotten out of the chance of volatility. Now, I know there are news plays traders out there, so just be very cautious. Let's have a look at what's going on across the board, ladies and gentlemen. Ethereum doing some nice little flavor to the upside, moving up nicely. It hasn't yet taken its 200 EMA, which is a little bit of a cause for concern for me. I need Ethereum to break above the psychological zones themselves. Hasn't even come towards the psychological region. We have got red vector candles in the chart. Just be cautious because Ethereum is volatile and they could snap back up to come back down again. Just keep an eye on these vector candles. They're not moving fast enough away from the zone. That is a clue for me. I want to pay attention to that because it's revealing to me that they could actually switch things up once the news announcements comes out. Let's have a look at USDT. The reason why I look at this chart, not because as a reading of a yield or anything like that, it tells me where people's heads are at. This tells me that they have now picked up Bitcoin. That's it. They've picked up crypto. Are they going to want to realize a return on that? Will the news announcements send USDT back up and put people back in fear? Or will it rip down in towards this previous vector zone? If they start breaking down of this structure right here on USDT, that means traders are picking up crypto. That means they're getting rid of USDT positions and picking up and exchanging it for crypto, okay? So they're using that crypto. That means if it breaks beyond the 8.13% mark, we're likely to see it continue in towards the 7.7 zone, which tells me people are picking up crypto, which means Bitcoin will be going up, Ethereum will be going up, NASDAQ will be moving higher, Euro will be moving higher, okay? Let's have a look at Euro USD. Again, stuck in that zone, waiting for the FOMC. We do have an imbalance down here, and I just don't like the idea of this imbalance down here. Same with Bitcoin, same with NASDAQ in itself. Here we go. Look at that. NASDAQ, I just don't like it at all. I want this imbalance to be realized because then that will give me a better outlook on what they plan on doing. Because if price does come back down to this point, we're then going to see the interest of traders coming in at these zones right here. Okay, because after this, there's not that many green vectors to go into on the day trading principle. So you've got to be very cautious with the news play. This is why I say to you, wait for it to come out. Oil takes a bit of a nosedive, ladies and gentlemen, and look at that, coming back into the green vector candle zone that we marked off yesterday, which suggests to me that USD CAD is moving up. Okay, we've had a bit of a move up and it's trending higher away from this zone. Rise, retrace, continuation. We need to see USD CAD holding its daily open and looking to try and take out this 800 EMA in the chart. This is on the idea that oil maintains its stance and continues to go lower. All right. If we look at how Tesla ended up yesterday, Tesla still hasn't done any good news for me in the sense where it's getting close towards that 153 zone. We have had a couple of gap downs in Tesla as well, but we've got some vector candles that we would like to see Tesla come back up into. We may get a little bit of a gap up in the NASDAQ in itself, because if we look at NASDAQ's trading behavior on the actual futures contracts, you can see right here, here we go. You can see that NASDAQ is forming a specific structure going in towards the previous red vector candles. If it can't break beyond this zone of 11,842, then there's nothing for us to do, okay? And FOMC is going to reveal that. Looking at the VIX, ladies and gentlemen, stalling and going all the way down towards 21. If you look left on the VIX, you'll see that there are vector candle regions right here, which could suggest that things could still keep moving up. And moving down. If the VIX keeps on going down, when it's high, you buy. When it's low, you hold. So that means that things could be moving lower in the near future if the VIX keeps on going down, all right? Trigger points are around 20, sometimes 19. But when it's at the highest point, that is where people are at their most fearful, because then everything is going crazy in the charts. Everything's taken a nosedive. So you really want to see this bad boy moving up before you start buying. That's the principle of the VIX chart. Looking at the 10-year yields, ladies and gentlemen, stalling and going down towards that 3.7 zone. Now, look, if the yields themselves actually drop lower, it suggests to me that people are picking up government bonds. So they're looking for assets, which is why you're seeing everything moving up. Okay, let's go into gold itself. Gold comes down into that vector candle region right there, ladies and gentlemen, and it's recovering the vectors. And the concerning thing about gold is this. Naturally, when gold goes up, you would expect Bitcoin to go up as well. But because of the problems that we've got in cryptocurrency, traders are sort of pushing that narrative onto Bitcoin. All it takes now is another company to say we've got liquidation issues. That's going to be reflected in Bitcoin because it's not the problem of Bitcoin. It's the way people can obtain their crypto that's going to create an illusion in people's minds that things aren't looking good. Okay? If I hold Bitcoin and I hold it on Femex or I hold it on Coinbase or I hold it anywhere else, okay? If I've got a problem or I see there's a problem with Binance, I'm going to think, oh my God, there's a big player like that. Oh, they're going to hold their withdrawals. I need to get rid of my crypto. I need to hold on to my crypto. I need to get it out of exchanges. And it's all this inflow, outflow of exchanges showing us that people removing liquidity from exchanges, what creates the fear, naturally that gets pushed onto crypto or Bitcoin in itself. Like I said to you earlier on, guys, I'm all about Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. You know, I've got pictures in my house of Bitcoin. Happy days. But we have to just get with the idea that we are still not yet done with the idea of, is it low enough just yet? We might get a little bit of a welcome rally to the upside. Thanksgiving usually does that. There's around about a 63% chance that we do get a good rally over the Thanksgiving period, okay? Then what happens after that? We got next week where we've got average hourly earnings being released, the unemployment rate being released, okay? You've got it right here. Look, keep an eye out for next month. Here we go. Check this out. You've got, look at this, JOLTS job openings, pending home sales. Mr. Powell is having a conversation with us, ladies and gentlemen. ISM manufacturing. Listen, the manufacturing indexes themselves, the Philly Fed manufacturing index saw a massive contraction. Big problem for the manufacturing sector itself. So next month, we're going to see if that's going to be the case, okay? There's a deceleration in the US economy, guys. That's the problem. And in my honest opinion, if the Fed continues to decrease interest rates or start slowing things down to the point where they're not increasing interest rates. And look, we don't know what they're going to do. The FOMC speakers earlier on, they didn't really give us much information. All right. Now, let's just go into where we are. Let's go back into Bitcoin. What time are we on? We have got roughly about 10 more minutes until Bitcoin starts to get busy in the New York futures markets. Let's have a look at the liquidation zones for the retail traders. Check this out. In front of you right now, guys, we've got a high block. Now, we've got two zones in the chart. At the top side, we have got $813 million worth of short liquidations at 16,775. Below, we have $868 million worth of long liquidations at 15,925. News announcements are coming out today. Which zone is it going to take? Do you believe that price can go up during the news announcements? Type 1 in the comments section. Tell me your thoughts on whether you believe it can go up and hit this liquidity to the upside. Because we are again in exactly the same situation, ladies and gentlemen, as we were only a couple of weeks ago. We had two liquidation zones where Bitcoin was showing the interest of actually looking like it wants to move towards one zone, but then it favored the other zone. Which one do you think is it going to take? Is it going to take the top side or the bottom side? If we go into the actual 7-day chart, just to understand, the 7-day chart, just to understand how traders are thinking overall. Look at this. It looks kind of obvious now, doesn't it? Now we got $3.5 billion worth of liquidation points at 17,150. Most of the commitments all the way down here at 15K. Which do you think they're going to go for first? Look, one hit, they absorbed 1.8 billion at 16,600. The second hit, they absorbed 1.7 billion. And then the third hit, they hit 1.723 billion at 16,700. So are they in the mood to move higher? In my honest opinion, ladies and gentlemen, if we just look at Bitcoin for the time being, all right, I want to see a retrace to the 50 EMA. That's what I want to see. And hopefully, Bitcoin can hold at the daily open, okay? If the data comes out, and I'm going to say it to you, do not do anything until 3:05. 5 minutes past 3. Because once 5 minutes past 3 happens, you would have absorbed the news announcements that are coming out today. So that will mean you would have hit the, it's in the next 15 minutes. You've got the flash PMI coming out, then the new home sales at 3, and then the consumer sentiment. Wait until 5 minutes past 3, and then you'll know where you stand, because you then, in principle, have roughly around 4 hours of free trading before the FOMC. And usually before the FOMC, price usually stalls a little bit. Here we go. We've got some movement in the chart, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin looking like it's coming to eat that liquidity, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. What have we got right here? It's starting to get a bit busy. What time is it? 5 more minutes until the actual start of the New York session itself. We're getting some activity. NASDAQ looking like it's coming back down into that vector candle recovery right there. Let's just have a look at the dominance of the dollar for a split second. If I start speaking a little bit fast, guys, try and listen as quick as you can, because I will start spitting some fire whilst price is making its moves. Dollar dominance is coming back up ever so slightly, but not enough for me to agree that they're going to continue higher. I would need to see a sharp recovery of the red vector candle in this zone right here. Let me just flip over to Ethereum and have a look at what's going on there. This is all preparation for the start of the New York futures markets itself. Looking at USDT. USDT's got some curvature to come and back up again. The psychological zone has got the same interest of where they previously purchased, where they got rid of crypto at that point. It's a psychological chart, guys. This is a psychological chart. Tells me when they're buying and when they're selling. Oh, my days. Oh, my days. I was just about to sneeze right there. Okay? For the 100K subscribers, I'm going to be playing guitar. That bad boy right there. I'm going to pull it out, pull an amplifier out. I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but I want you guys to put a list of songs that you want me to play. They are only allowed to be Metallica. So any other bands, then I'm going to have to practice the music itself. But just give me some songs that you want me to play for you on the 100K, on that subscriber milestone. But mad love and respect to you all. It has been the wildest 2 years that I've had in my life. Like, I never anticipated that I would be sat on YouTube talking about cryptocurrency and price action across the board. It's been absolutely wonderful. Mad love to all of you people. Mad love to you all. I'll keep saying mad love, because there's no other channel that spreads love the way we do on these lives, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, look, Bitcoin. Look what it's doing. Look what it's doing. Sad but true, my friend. That would be very fitting for the current situation that we have in cryptocurrency. Bitcoin working into that previous vector candle region. A test of the daily open will show me the proof that they do mean business. Why? Because look at the last daily open, ladies and gentlemen. Look what happened there. Patrons of the channel, vector push zone. The same idea would naturally happen if Bitcoin can make its way towards the daily open. Okay? That's what we're looking for. It's the only next point in the chart which would give me solid understanding that they're getting ready. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. What time are we on? What have we got? What have we got? 3 more minutes, ladies and gentlemen, until they start bringing that fire. I'm getting myself a little bit pumped up. And so, you know what? Some people like to say, yo, Tina, man, it's moving down ever so slightly. Why are you getting excited for? You're not getting it. It's all about the development. They are revealing to us what they're planning on doing later on. The sooner Bitcoin comes down, the more of a logic I have in the belief that if the news comes out favorable and investors welcome it, and I'm talking Wall Street, Bitcoin in principle should shoot back up. Okay? But if Bitcoin keeps on moving up, ladies and gentlemen, it only tells me that the market itself is trapping traders in the belief that price is going to continue higher. Okay? Looking at NASDAQ, it's starting to break down. It's stalling at the daily open. Let me just pull that up for you guys. Let's have a look at that. Where's NASDAQ? NASDAQ, NASDAQ. There we go. Here we are. Right there. Stalling at the daily open. No, do this one here. There's that test right there. If they release from the daily open, ladies and gentlemen, and remember, look what NASDAQ did yesterday. They did a trickery of a move yesterday, and they snapped it all the way back up. So just be very careful with the US Brink session. And look when it finished, ladies and gentlemen. I always say to you, wait until 3 p.m. They were marking it down in the US Brink session, and then bang on the nose, 3 p.m. happens, shift back up vector candle recovery. Wait until the magic hour of 3 p.m. But because we've got news announcements coming out, wait till 3:05, and you're going to have a better overview of what the market is trying to do. Let me look at Dixie. Dixie's coming back up, ladies and gentlemen. That's not a good sign. Bitcoin's come back down again. Remember, Bitcoin takes a little bit of a while to make its move. I'm waiting for that daily open to come into play. Ethereum, what's it doing? Ethereum's doing exactly the same thing. If they release into this liquidity zone right here, then they're going to be releasing into the short liquidation zones themselves. We've got 43 seconds left until the market actually opens. This is where it's starting to get a little bit busy. Bitcoin will start making that move very shortly. Let me split the chart up. Hold on. Where we at? Where we at? Let's bring that there. Happy days. Let's put this here and get NASDAQ up. I want to see NASDAQ making that move. Here we go. Let's get rid of this. Cool. Split. All right then. Cool. Here we are. Let's get this up. 10-hour chart on NASDAQ. Sickening of that blue vector candle right there. Here we go. 5-minute time frame. Let's see if they can pull off, if they're going to pull off the dirty in the chart today, ladies and gentlemen. All before the news announcements. Here we go. What we got? 30 seconds. Here we go. We're in. This is it. Markets are now open, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what NASDAQ has in store. Look at that sharp breakdown right there. Remember, during this time is when the market is absorbing orders from the night before as well. So this is where it gets tricky in this actual zone. So just be very careful. Let me just get rid of that to make it clearer for you. Happy days. Here we go. Bitcoin coming back up. Nice little play up. Be careful. You wait until the Brinks box is finalized, because this trickery of this play right here is designed at getting traders to commit with the idea, oh, it's going down, and then it sharply moves back up. So let's see what they have in store for us right now. First few moments of the actual Brinks box. Data's coming out in the next 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just make sure I've got the times right. Flash PMI is coming out. Unemployment claims have increased. Flash PMI tells you what? If it's below 50, it's a contraction. If it is anything below 48, that is going to be a little bit of a problem for us. So we really need to see the PMI showing a positive reading. It needs to be above 50. But here we go. We've got some movement. Look at this. Sharp plays. Why would you want to trade these mad zones, man? Wait till 3 p.m. Whilst Bitcoin is doing that, I need to have a look at Dixie itself. Let's go into Dixie. All right, Dixie's starting to come down, which is good news. As long as Dixie maintains the narrative of going lower, that would mean that Euro USD is starting to make a move to the upside. Happy days, but I'm not really seeing the conviction just yet. I've got vector candle regions right here that Euro could actually come back into. They've tested the daily open, so that's good news. We've got a bit of an M formation structure right here. I'd like to see them break beyond this point to invalidate this structure to give me the idea of it going higher. But of course, we are only 1 minute and a half into the open of the markets. USD CAD has taken a sharp move back down, which tells me oil is coming back up. There we go. So really want to see oil coming back up into this zone right here. Let's have a look at Tesla. How's Tesla fare? Tesla's has gapped up and closed that gap, ladies and gentlemen. Near enough closing that gap. That's a good move, but be careful because we want to see them close this gap sooner rather than later. Because if the market rallies from this point, at some point they're going to look to come back and close this gap. So be careful if you're trading Tesla. Microsoft comes down. It's trading negatively for the session, and it has been moving up. So this is all consistent with the FOMC itself. We've had some gap closes right there. Disney, look at that, coming down to close the gap. It is trading lower as well, so we're going down beyond the daily open itself. NASDAQ still stalling, not really giving me anything. Meta spikes up, rips back down again, triggers those orders. Happy days. Netflix trading sharply lower. Hopefully we see them come back down and recover this vector region right here, which is at the pivot point of $283 a share. Going into the GameStop, we got my guy, Mr. Icon, looking at shorting this bad boy, getting aggressively short with this actual asset. We could see it come back up ever so slightly, but if GameStop doesn't actually deliver the goods, then we are likely to see it come back down in towards yesterday's low, which will be quite a catastrophic situation for GameStop. Going into CRK, this was an asset that we spoke about yesterday. Look at that bad boy moving up. It's going to look to, it needs to try and break above the $20 zone for us to believe that it's going to continue higher, to close the gap up at $20.19 and try and aim towards this region of sales. We want to see it get to this point and break beyond that zone to make us believe that it can go higher. Google trading strongly as well, but the problem that I've got is NASDAQ going to be showing the same thing? Here we go. NASDAQ still stalling. Bitcoin's coming back down. Not really giving me that follow through yet. Green vector candle on the 5-minute time frame. If this green vector candle can't get close towards the top side of the Brinks itself, it would then give me another understanding that the NASDAQ is initiating a stop hunt rise, rip to the downside. This is where the proof of the move comes into play. You are safer when the news comes out. That way you know where you stand with it. So this is where you spend the first 20-30 minutes of watching price in the marketplace so that you get an idea of what they can actually do and what they're likely to end up doing throughout the day. Remember, once 3 p.m. happens, all the data will be out up until the last bit of data, which is the FOMC minutes, which is being released today, 7 p.m. UK time, which I believe is around about 2 p.m. US time. Okay, here we go. NASDAQ moving up, Bitcoin moving up as well. That's suggesting to me that the Dixie itself is continuing lower. They're recovering this vector candle zone right here. We really need NASDAQ to break higher and going into the high zone as well. Take out the London high itself. Trade above the UK Brink session itself. But you've got to wait because this might be a trap. It might be a false move, so just be cautious. You'll get the confirmation when the US Brink session is done, okay? What's going on? Let's have a look at what you guys are talking about. 240K jump in jobless claims may make the Fed take the foot off the gas pedal. Housing market is already circling down the drain. That is correct. The lower the employment market is, so the less people, the more people that are claiming, the easier it's going to be for the Fed to actually do something about reducing the interest rates. Here we go. Got some flavor. Here we go. Got some movement. What time is it? 25 to. In the next 10 minutes, we do have news announcements coming out. Let me just have a look at Ethereum for a second. Ethereum's not doing that flavor, man. It's not giving me... I genuinely believe that Ethereum gives us the clues as to what Bitcoin's going to do. There've been too many instances when Ethereum has moved towards the psychological zones and Bitcoin's far away from it, then Bitcoin eventually comes down to those zones, okay? If you look at Ethereum on this previous time frame, look at this. Let me get rid of this right here. If you go onto Ethereum on the 1 hour time frame, guys, what you'll see is Ethereum recovered this vector zone first, but Bitcoin was still up here, then Bitcoin came down to it, all right? So it's good to keep an eye on Ethereum, all right? Here we go. If it can't get above that 200 EMA, we've got a problem. And we need to just pay attention to what the NASDAQ and the S&P are doing. Let's have a look at S&P right now. S&P, nice, sharp move up right there. Don't be a green vector. Don't be a green vector. Please don't be a green vector. The problem that I've got with this green vector candle is the next candle will give the opportunity to move down lower, okay? But at least once the vector candle finalizes, take 50% of that candlestick, and you expect 50% of it to be recovered. If it can hold within the top side of this area here, we would then understand that this candlestick has been designed by nature to move price higher, okay? Now, Bitcoin's still at that 16,422 zone itself. How many have we got in the room? 1,400 of you. Mad love and respect, guys, for joining the live today. Get the likes up. And then if you are new, be sure to like and subscribe. Work that algorithm right there. We are close towards that 100K milestone. It's unbelievable, man. Wicked, wicked. Here we go. Look, it's slowing down. News announcements is going to lead us into that region right there. That's what I believe. I need to pull up Bitcoin on the higher time frame to understand if they're going to do what I think they're going to do. Let's just go to higher time frames. My days. I need to sneeze. I need to sneeze. Here we go. 1 hour time frame. Oh, my God. No. No, 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 no. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. If I sneeze, that's it. Stream is over. We're going to start having a sneezing attack, going crazy. I don't want to be doing that. Look, test of the 50 EMA right there, ladies and gentlemen. Remember what we said about the 5 and 13 EMA? If the 5 and 13 EMA make their way down towards the 50 EMA and hold, we're still good for upside. Why? Because this is the proof of the move. I say it to everyone. Whenever you are trading, and you witness price make a move to the upside, you do not go long at this point. This is the advert for Mr. Market Maker to say, "Hey man, can you sell here? You know, we want to sell here." And you, as the retail traders, like, "Whoa, price is going up. Let's buy something that is increasing in value continuously because that's what we are told." Nah, bruv. You do not do that. You wait for the retrace. Why? Because the retrace tells you at the point where Mr. Market Maker can grab the same interest and mark it back up again. Okay? Then if the interest does maintain itself and Mr. Market Maker can get short positions sold from a high point, then happy days. He's going to break this region right here and you will be in your nice little profit. And what are you going to do? You're going to pay yourself. That's what you're going to do. You're not going to leave the money in the chart for Bitcoin to come back down again and test the idea of going back into the same zone that they could trap traders at. This is where you are right now in the charts, ladies and gentlemen. We are right now at that point where we've got the rise, retrace, rise, retrace. If Bitcoin can't hold this zone, it's done. Okay? And news announcements are going to dictate that. All right? Okay then, cool. Right. Let me just go and have a look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ's going to give me the clue. Here we go. NASDAQ is doing the good dirty. Here we go. Green vector pushing up, coming into the vector candle recovery. This is good because it's showing you how they recover vector candles. And whenever you see them recovering vector candles, the issue that I've got is the US Brink session hasn't finished yet. So for me to get the proof that they're going to continue higher, I need to see this break beyond this vector candle point, then retrace, then continue up. But we haven't had any touches of the moving averages. in terms of the stock market itself is in a confirmed uptrend, okay? But all it takes is one bad move lower to change the idea. You are witnessing now the vector candle recovery principle coming into play. This is what we talk about in the Patreon of the channel, where we dive deeper into understanding how to trade this discussion about vector candles, okay? Now, the vector candle itself is where previous traders had opened shorts, and now they've got all their liquidity sat inside of this zone. Go back to the high block, the principle is exactly the same. People using leverage. There's $3.4 billion worth of liquidation points at 17,150. Can we project that Bitcoin could hit that zone based on news announcements? Let's go into it. How far is 17K? It's not that far. Let's take a price point from where we are right now, going up to 17K. Can Bitcoin achieve a 3.5% move? Of course it can. It's a crazy asset. But we need to see the commitment and break above the 200 EMA on the 1 hour time frame. It's the first time we've seen it. This is the proof of the move, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to sit with you guys. Next 5 minutes, we're going to have the news announcements coming out, and this is where it's going to get tricky. I need to set up my charts for a split second. Let me just bring up. There we go. So what have we got? Bitcoin on the top, on the far left, the S&P in the middle, and I want to bring up the dominance of the dollar on the right here. Okay, look, I don't like this. Dollar dominance is holding out. S&P and NASDAQ keep moving up and down in this zone. They are triggering orders, trying to get those buys committed. I don't like the look of this green vector candle. If I go into smaller time frames, I need to try and find myself what we got here. Too much of a bold move up. I need to see the break above this region right here. 3 more minutes until the start of a new vector candle. News announcements will come out. Let me get Bitcoin up on the 15-minute time frame to understand the proof of the move, ladies and gentlemen. Can we see Bitcoin move away from this point? Has the interest come in from the daily open? Because we haven't seen the daily open just yet. We haven't seen it. Look at this. This right here. Take that same principle that I just did on the S&P. Take 50% of the vector candle itself. Look what they're doing at the vector candle region on Bitcoin. Pin, pin, pin. I need to see them break above that to believe it's going to go higher. Because if I don't get that commitment, everything is going down. S&P and NASDAQ are being set up for a trap. Looking at that point, yeah, it looks like I'm thinking they're going to do it, man. Here we go. A few more minutes until that news announcements. Let's have a look at what you guys are saying. Collapse of USDT will bring Bitcoin to 8K. Look, the way I see with USDT is this. We need more people to hold USDT to actually initiate a collapse. All right? We're not there yet because people are still in profit in Bitcoin. So it's whether they decide to take a profit on it now. Look how Bitcoin's behaving in the US Brinks. How can you make sense of this area, ladies and gentlemen? Tell me how. You can't. What we got? 3 more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Dixie. Now, this is how you should have your charts, guys, when you're trading. Because when you've got Bitcoin responding to news announcements, all right, you've got to keep yourself aligned with what's going on with smart money across the board. Right now, NASDAQ and S&P have been moving up, but I'm not seeing the commitment on the green vector candle. The start of the next candlestick will do one of 2 things. They will look to try and recover some of this wick right here, okay? If the news doesn't come in good, then we're going to see them recover this vector candle and rip down lower. That's what we want to see. We want to see them come down lower before the FOMC. Why? Because if they keep on moving price higher, it only suggests to me that they're getting ready to run for shorts. And that news is going to be revealed in the FOMC that the market might not see as favorable, okay? So this is what you've got to be cautious of. Look at that. Big vector candle. Now it's starting to pull back. It needs to finalize at the top side of this candlestick to make me believe they're going to go higher. Hopefully they do go higher. But when you are working in terms of probabilities about how a candlestick is going to develop, all you're doing, you are dealing with real time, guys. Okay? You are getting feedback off the way they're moving price. There's no way in any strategy out there. Nothing is going to say to you, now's the right time to buy, now's the right time to sell. The easiest part of trading is the entry. It's the exit that people struggle with, okay? That's why people have a problem paying themselves. Look, that is evident. These guys that were short when Bitcoin went all the way down to 15.5K, they were laughing, bruv. Now it's gone all the way up to around 16.7. Now they're scratching their head thinking, should I increase my margins? The day you start adding to margin, that's where there's a problem in the trade. You need to close the trade, take the money so that you can open another trade and then have a little bit more capital behind you and then manage your expectations accordingly. Here we go. 41 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. News announcements coming out. Let's get ready for this bad boy. Is this the trap or are they actually going to do the dirty on us? Here we go. Let's see. Dixie down at the bottom right there. I don't want them to recover this violet vector candle. I want it to go down even lower. Let's see if they're getting set up for the news announcements. 4,000 on the S&P itself. Dixie still holding out. As long as Dixie keeps on going down, ladies and gentlemen, that's good news for Bitcoin to come back up. Let's see if they're going to do that. Look at them struggling at that 50% mark. Here we go. 10, 9, 8. Hold on to your horses, boys and girls. It's not big news announcements, but there's a reason to move the market. That's why I'm interested in it. Here we go. Bang. Look at that mad move right there, ladies and gentlemen. Big news play. Here we go. Look at S&P shooting up right there, ladies and gentlemen. Recovery of that wick. There's your news plays right there. Let's see if they're going to absorb it. Let's see if this is the trap. This is why I say to you, wait till the US Brink session finalizes. Let's see the truth of the move. Dixie's taking a nosedive to the downside. That's good news for us. S&P is holding out. NASDAQ, oh my days. NASDAQ fully recovers that red vector candle. Let's get that bad boy up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at it. Here we go. NASDAQ, look at that. Oh, not good. Not good. Stop hunt rise. Here it is. NASDAQ, please don't do it. Don't do it. Please hold out. Is the news favorable? What have we got? What's our news saying? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. What we got? No contraction? Ooh, contraction in the PMI. It's gone lower, way beyond their expectations. Flash manufacturing PMI right there. 47. Man, that's not good. New home sales, I expect it to be lower anyway. Consumer sentiment is going to put things into perspective. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Is Dixie going to come back up? Bitcoin still recovering that red vector candle. That's good news, but not enough just yet. We still got another 15 more minutes until the news actually comes out and going to tell us exactly where we stand. Now, listen, we've just had the main news come out. Not so much the main news, but part of the main news coming out. Now we're getting more insight into what's going on. So PMI index is going down. So there's a contraction in the manufacturing sector. What does that project out to the future? It means that things aren't looking so good. So that means that manufacturing companies listed on the stock market are naturally going to be declaring a problem, or not so much a problem, but they're going to be declaring a reduction in their earnings. Okay, that's something that could be projected out in the future. The market's going to absorb that. If the market dismisses this, okay, and they're only interested in whether the interest rates are going to go up or down, they should in principle continue higher. Okay, but we've still got another 15 more minutes until that news play does decide to come in. Okay, now, be very careful. Now is not the time to go long. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep saying it because the market is flirting with you right now. It's making you believe now's the time to go long. The truth of the move will be in this move right here, guys, with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin can successfully break beyond the psychological low, okay? If it can go beyond the psychological low, happy days. But be careful because FOMC is going to give us the true move. So they could consolidate inside of this area here. So be very cautious, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you guys. Why? Because I want you to apply the concept that I have just discussed. Wait till 5 minutes past 3, because then the news will be out. Then you will have 3 hours and 55 minutes worth of trading, because that's when, after that period of time, the FOMC will release the minutes. The sweet time to trade is when London closes. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because right now you have got London and the US battling it out. Should it go up? Should it go down? Are there more sellers in London? Are there more buyers in London? Are there more sellers in US? Or are there more buyers in US? Where's the disparity? And we're trying to work that out. And that's why you see price going crazy up and down all the time. Okay? That's why I say to you, wait till 3 p.m. If you can sit back and wait for 3 p.m. to come, you're going to know exactly where you stand. 5 minutes past 3 is the safe zone. Then you are free to do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. You won't have no issues with news. And I will keep on saying this until it's in your mind, because saving yourself until 3 p.m. is going to allow you to exercise discipline in this messed up game. All right? This game takes the mick. And it's the most challenging, hardest, easiest way to make money. Ladies and gentlemen, be sure to hit the like button. Get on with that subscription so we can get on that journey to the 100K zone. You want to learn more about the hybrid, check out the Patreon at the top of the chat and go access all that masterclass madness that we have on the Traders Reality website. Have yourselves a great day, guys, and I will speak to you guys later. Take care of yourselves. Peace.